Hey, what's up? It's your boy Jonathan Belcher here. We're going to start off with our daily affirmation before we start talking about what we're going to be talking about today, which I'm excited to be talking about the topic at hand because it's one of my favorite topics. How to escape the rat race, how to get out of living a 9-to-5 job and start living out your dreams, how to start acting on your dreams, how to start doing what you really want to do and live a life of purpose. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. But before I go into that, let's start off with our daily affirmations. I am rich. I am financially free. I am financially prosperous. Money flows to me effortlessly and abundantly. I am wealthy. I am healthy. I am loved. We're going to say it one more time. I am rich. I am financially free. I am financially prosperous. I am wealthy. I am healthy. I am loved. Believe it or not, positive self-talk does something to the subconscious mind. It does something to the subconscious mind. Positive self-talk does something to the subconscious mind, as well as visualizing positive things. You know what I'm saying? Positive self-talk does something to the subconscious mind, and it gets you to be courageous. It gets you to become bossed up. You know what I'm saying? So, how to start living out your dreams, how to fire your boss, escape the 9-to-5 rat race. Maybe you're in a situation in your life right now where you don't feel like you're getting paid what you're worth. I can totally relate to that. I've been there. I've been in a situation where I did not feel like I was being paid what I was worth. Some of you know the story. When I used to work at Babies R Us. I used to work as a security guard. I used to work at a car dealership. None of those jobs really made me feel fulfilled personally. But I will tell you, for those of you who are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs or you're an entrepreneur already, I'm going to tell you how to really become and do exactly what you want to do in life. So my first question for you is, what would you do, what would you have, what would you be if time and money were not an issue for you? What would you do, what would you have, what would you be if time and money were not an issue for you? So I want you to imagine for a second how you would be living your everyday life if you didn't need your 9-to-5 job. You know, and you may be working at a 9-to-5 job that you love. I'm not necessarily talking to you. If you love your 9-to-5 job, that's great. That's phenomenal, because that means that job is like a dream job. But if you're not necessarily at a dream job, I want you to imagine how life would be. How would you feel? Imagine, picture your day, your everyday life, if you didn't have to go work for the boss that you work for now. If you could run a business full time, make enough passive income to fire your boss, make enough passive income to take care of your family, make enough passive income to travel when you want, make enough passive income to teach when you want, you know, make enough passive income to have fun when you want, make money on the go when you want. But the first step to escaping the rat race is you got to be clear. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you clear on what you want? Are you clear on what you want out of life? Do you have a defined, definite purpose in mind? Do you know what you want out of life? Because it ain't no sense in starting on a journey that's not going to get you to the destination that you want. There's no sense in getting started on a journey where your vision is not compatible with the plan that you have in place to get to that vision. You know what I mean? So I want you to, first off, understand something. If you want to quit your job, you want to work for yourself full time, there's a big responsibility to actually make that a reality. There's an obligation on your part. And a very cool obligation, because you actually getting through to accomplishing your dreams most likely is going to impact other people in a positive way. That's why it's so important that we go after our dreams. How often should we give up? Never. How often should we give up on our dreams? Never. How often should you give up on your dreams? Never. Never. I don't care what Tom, Dick, Harry, Sarah, Sean, Samuel, Wilson. I don't care what anybody has to say. How often do you give up on your dream? Never. That's the answer. It's a very simple answer. You don't have to think about it. And if you have to think about it, that's probably where the first problem lies. But anyway, so understand that criticism is going to arise. Criticism may arise when you're trying to break free. When you're trying to do something that your heart have been calling you to do. When you're trying to do something that you know you have the genius and the intelligence to do, but you may not have the tools. You may not have the right opportunity. You may not have the right system. You know? So understand that criticism is going to happen. How are you going to take on that criticism? Are you going to let what other people think constantly determine your life? Are you going to let what other people think constantly determine the next decision you make? Are you going to let what other people think constantly discourage you from what you truly, truly, truly always wanted to do? Are you? So criticism, the first phase is knowing how to get past criticism, knowing how to not give a F about what other people got to say. Because everybody has the answers. Everybody has the solutions. But the thing is, at the end of the day, your heart knows what's best. You're inside. You, on the inside of you, you know what's best. Because you're the one who has to, you came into this world by yourself, you're going to leave this world by yourself. And if you have a dream, you're supposed to protect that dream. If you have a dream, you're supposed to nourish that dream. If you have a dream, you're supposed to develop that dream, work on that dream. And the second thing, after getting over criticism, the second thing is becoming extremely knowledgeable in the field in which you want to run business in. Become extremely knowledgeable in the field in which you want to run business in. Become an expert. Immerse yourself in the information of the people in the business that you want to be in. Learn all the ins and outs. Learn the terminology. Learn about who the big players are in the industry you want to make money in. Learn, who could be your potential mentors. Get in line with people who have visions similar to yours. I'll tell you in a minute. Right now, I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm looking for an army of people. I'm looking for people right now who want to earn passive income, creating content, and at the same time, spiritually and personally developing other people. That's what I'm looking for, is people who want to get rid of the rat race. They're tired of working a job. They're tired of, if you're one of those people, you're tired of being told what you're worth, and you know you're worth more, and you just need an opportunity, you need a system. But most importantly, you need a mentor. You need a mentor. A mentor. So many people go through life without a mentor. Fortunate for those of you who have a father figure who may be a mentor, or a mother figure who may be a mentor, or a cousin, or somebody in your family who's close to you who can be a beacon of light, or like a role model, if you will. But you need mentors. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're in a 9-to-5 job right now and you're struggling, you're broke, you're tired of the rut, and you're looking to get into business, you want to run your own business, you want to be your own boss, you want to get rich, you want to travel the world, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to drive the best cars, you want to have the best clothes, you want to have nice looking women, nice looking men, whatever the case may be, right? Understand that in order to do that, you're going to have to become good in the business that you want to be good in. If you're not good in the business you plan on getting into, well then, why do you expect to attract the customers that you want? So that's the second thing, is being open to mentorship, being open to training, being open to learn, understanding that, there's people out there who have quit their job before you. Maybe they could tell you a thing or two about quitting your job. Understand that there's other people out there who have dreams as similar as yours and visions as similar as yours. How can you get in line with those people and work together with them in conjunction? Because I don't know if you know, but the Bible says, in any place where 2 or 3 people agree, right? 2 or more people agree in faith, right? They can say to this mountain before them, move out the way. And the mountain has to move out the way, because 2 brains are better than 1, right? And if 2 minds are focused on the same vision, right? Let's say you got a friend or you got a business partner, whatever. It could be me. Maybe you could see me as a mentor that you want to get in line with and start making passive income with, whatever. But just understand, mentorship is the second thing. You got to learn the game you want to be learn the game you want to be profitable in. Learn the industry. You know what I mean? You got to learn that stuff. After you learn, the third thing is take action. Take action. You say, John, when do I take action? As soon as possible. When I get all the information? No. When I become an expert in this business? No. John, when do I take action? When all my ducks are lined up in a row and the stars aligned? No. John, when do I take action? Do I take action when I've went through 8 years of schooling and 12 years of schooling and I finally feel ready now? No. You take action the moment you start immersing yourself into the knowledge that you want to learn having to do with the business you want to be big in. Immediately, as soon as possible, you take action. Why? Because there's only certain skills that can be developed through action. And a lot of people, unfortunately, fail in life, and a lot of people live a life of mediocrity because the very thing that they need to get great at something they're not doing, which is the very practice of something. Repetition makes perfect. You know what I mean? And you can't expect to be in business. You can't expect to be in a relationship. You can't expect to be in a successful job. You can't expect to do anything successful without taking action, because faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. So you want to quit your job. You want to leave that 9-to-5 rat race. You tired of the bills. You tired of being in debt. You tired of limitations. You tired of not being able to do what you want to do. But you got to take the action. Faith without works is dead. You take action, even if you don't have the game down pat yet, even if you're not perfect yet, even if you're not the best yet, because greatness comes through the doing. The actual action is where greatness comes from. Could you imagine a person wanting to be the best rapper in the world and never hitting the studio to record anything? Could you imagine a singer wanting to be the best singer in the world and never working on her vocals, never singing in the shower at all, never practicing in the mirror? Could you imagine a dancer wanting to be the best dancer in the world and never practicing in the mirror, never actually dancing, but wants to be, I want to be the best dancer in the world, I want to be the best rapper, I want to... Well, start rapping, start dancing, start singing. You got to do the do. If you don't do the do, you can't make the moolah. You can't make the moolah. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that's simple. I'd be thinking that's simple. Taking action is what creates success. I'd be thinking that's simple, but that's not simple for everybody. Some people expect things to just fall from the heavens by sitting on their ass, but that's not how it works, especially a part of this 300 to Freedom movement. You know, we believe in working for what we want. We believe in putting in the action. We don't believe in necessarily working like a dog and getting paid pennies by somebody else or working on somebody else's dreams. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what's getting you by and that's helping you and that's helping you feel purposeful, that's great. That's awesome. But if it's not, that's the only thing where I challenge you at, is if you don't feel like you're really living a life honest to yourself. If you really don't feel like you're living a life of purpose, if you really don't feel like you're living your dreams, I'm talking directly to you. And if you know that you have what it takes inside of you, and you don't know why you just haven't made it the first initial step to start on your dreams and embark on your journey of greatness, what's going on? So the third thing is you got to take action, right? Now, the fourth thing, right, after you get over criticism, right? You get over criticism. You learn the game that you're in. You're learning the game, right? And realize that learning is ongoing, you know? I don't ever stop learning. I don't ever stop reading books. I don't ever stop opening my ears to successful people. I don't ever stop opening my ears to new ideas. I don't ever stop growing. The minute I say, look, I know it all, I don't need any more information, is the very minute that I've lost, and I've lost the game. I've lost the game. But the more open I am to receiving more information, the more open I am to receiving knowledge, the more open you are to receiving mentorship, the more open you are to receiving training, the more open you are to receiving concepts and learning new things and developing your skill sets, developing your spirituality, developing yourself as a person. This is what life is about. Growth. Growth. You want to leave your 9-to-5 job because you don't feel like you're growing there. Let's just be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. You want to leave your job. You don't feel like you're growing there. You feel like you go in there every single week. You punching the clock. You're working 40 plus hours a week and it's like a hamster on a treadmill. You feel like you're in the same place going nowhere fast. And you've probably been looking at the past 3 years or 5 years or the next 10 years and you're saying, damn, where am I really going if I continued on this mediocre path that I'm on? What if, I just have a question for you. What if for 1 second you said, look, what if I just went for my dreams without worrying if I failed? Because I'm going to be honest with you, most people, the sad truth is that most people simply don't start on their dreams and start on what they want because they're afraid of what somebody close to them might think. That is the reason for many people not going after their dreams. That is the reason for many people not working towards their vision of helping people in the world. Is because they're afraid of what a friend, a family member, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a mom, or dad might think. Isn't that a poor excuse? How is it so... I just want to change that. You know, that mentality that like, oh, I can't go after what I want because this person's going to judge me and they're going to think that this and I'm afraid of what if they're not my friend no more? Well, guess what? If you judge me because I'm going after my dreams, you was never my friend anyway. If you judge me as a family member because I was going after something that I was trying to help people in the world, you was never my friend anywhere. So it doesn't even matter. You know what I'm trying to say? So after that, right? After that, the fourth thing is, after you get your mentorship and all of that stuff, action, right? That's the third thing, is action. The fourth thing is, right? set yourself up an LLC. Get yourself an LLC. Open up yourself a company name, so that this way you get perks on taxes. You get to write off stuff. You get to protect yourself. You get to protect your income. You get to protect your capital. You get to protect your brand. You know, get yourself a company, LLC. Now you're officially a business, right? Now you're officially a business. You could be a walk-in business. You could be a brand. That's fine. So even with me, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've launched training products and stuff like that. And those are under a company, a certain umbrella. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then what I'm about to launch soon is going to be for everybody, content creators, YouTubers, really anybody really is going to be fitting for anybody who wants to create content and earn passive income. That's coming very, very soon. This is the most excited I've ever been for anything that I'm launching. You know what I mean? But that is going to be, you know, under a certain company as well, under a certain company umbrella as well. Because companies serve as entities on their own, right? So if you're thinking about a business, you're thinking about starting a business and being successful. When you launch a company is like a entity on its own, kind of separate from you. Even though it's yours, it's kind of separate from you, and it's how it's treated. You know, so opening up an LLC may be your fourth thing you want to do. And the fifth thing is think of ways that you can scale up what you're doing. Think of ways that you can scale up what you're doing. And this is how you're able to really quit your job and really make substantial income. Look at any type of results you're getting now in your business, if you're getting any at all, right? And if you're taking action, you should be getting some type of feedback. That's the thing about action is what creates the manifestation, you know? Think it, speak it, you manifest it through action, right? But you take an action now. Think of ways to scale up. Think of ways to increase the numbers. Think of ways to increase your customer base. Think of ways to increase your traffic. You know, YouTube is a great way to get the exposure out for your business, exposure out for your products and your services. One of the best ways. You know, and YouTube is only expanding. It's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as more people understand the importance of sharing value and sharing their vision and sharing their story, you know. I come from a low income to middle class family. Never came from a rich family or anything like that. So my vision is not one of, like, you know, something extremely vain. It's more so about impact on people. It's more so about making the world a better place. You know, we have starving children. There's really no reason to have any starving children in the world at all. No reason at all. We have people literally telling people that they can't smoke marijuana, something like that, for example. Like, think about it. Like, we are told we can't smoke marijuana, a natural herb. You know what I mean? And I'm not some pothead or something like that. I'm just saying, just think about how petty society is. You know what I mean? And this is the reason for my vision. When I think of a lot of things in society, they seem backwards to me, personally. You know what I mean? I look at liquor stores are everywhere. They're everywhere in bad, crazy neighborhoods, right? How often you see a Barnes and Nobles? You know, and these might be reasons why you want to leave the rat race. Maybe you feel like working a part of corporate America, you're basically condoning and further feeding the push of nonsense in society. Maybe you feel like that. A lot of what I do, I feel like there's people who've recommended I become a cop. You know, they recommend I become a police officer. Cool. Great job, noble job. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. How can I put it? Everything that they embody or that, you know, their the way they go about things, I'm not wholeheartedly in support of. And I can't do something just for the money if it's going to be at the expense of my integrity. Personally, I can't do something just for the money if it's going to be at the expense of my integrity. I'd rather not make any money at all. All right, everything that I've sold, everything that I do in business up to this point is because I believe in it. You know, I believe in you. You got to believe in you. You got to believe in your products. You got to believe in your vision. You got to believe in what you want to create. You can't quit your 9-to-5 job without believing in yourself. You can't escape the rat race without believing and knowing that you have something powerful to offer to the world. The world is your oyster. This is your place. This is your playground. You can create whatever you want to create. You know what I mean? You're a human being. You can move around. You're not a tree. You don't have to stand still. You can make decisions. You can create new habits. You can create new behaviors that creates new worlds, creates new results, new circumstances for you and your family. You can do it all. But you need a reason why you're doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, most people just want to do what they're doing just for the money. But after a while, what happens is if shit hits the fan in your business and the money's not coming in, how are you going to figure it out without any type of spiritual enlightenment or personal development? How are you going to figure it out when times get rough in your business and it just takes you just mustering up a little courage, or you just mustering up a little, a little toughness to get over the hump that may be before you in your life or your business? The only way to create that toughness, you have to build on something within yourself that money can't buy. And then you will become invincible enough to truly be deserving of the dream you want to live. Truly become deserving of the customers you want to have in your business. But the universe is watching. The universe sees every single action you take. They see every plant, every seed you plant. They see every garden that you're harvesting on. The universe knows when you're cutting corners. The universe knows when you're doing the wrong thing. The universe knows when you're doing things based on integrity. The universe knows when you're doing things to try to get people hurt, when you're trying to, the universe knows. So you're not cheating the universe. The only thing you're cheating if you're not going after your dreams and if you're not believing in yourself is you're cheating yourself. So that's the next thing. The fifth thing is just belief. Share belief to keep moving forward, because the road never ends. The road to where you can go, it never ends. Your reward is boundless. There's no limit on the reward you can receive in your life. There's no limit. How do I know? Because there's no limit to your imagination. There's no limit to what you can think. There's no limit to what you can envision. And therefore, if there's no limit to what you can think and no limit to what you can envision, there's no limit to what you can do. There's no limit to what you can do. I don't care who told you couldn't do that, you couldn't do this. There's no limit to what you can do. And understanding that, believe it or not, is a very, very important part of having success as an entrepreneur. Then what's the next thing? Number 6, your identity. Your identity, right? The things I just spoke about really has to do with your identity as well. Who are you? Who are you? What's your background? Where you come from? Who you come from? Why do you want to change something about the world? What do you want to change about the world, if anything? What do you want to invent? What do you want to create? I'm asking you these questions, and please don't let my passion make you think that I'm being arrogant. I'm just passionate. But I'm asking you these questions to jog your brain and get you to start thinking like an entrepreneur. Get you to start thinking like a person who's starting to carve your way out of, your 9-to-5 job. One thing my dad told me, I never forget this. My dad told me, look, my dad said the very day that you get into your 9-to-5 job, you should be working on an escape route, escape route or an invisible door, escape door, if you will, to get out of that job. So in other words, the very first day you start on your 9-to-5 job, you should be working on your very own dream on the side. You should be working on something that can pay you for years to come, no matter if you lift a finger or not. Because by the time you're 60, 70, 80 years old, 50 years old, you're going to want to relax and enjoy life. You're going to want to be healthy. You're going to want to have abundance and prosperity, be able to do what you want, because you don't want nothing to bother you. You don't want nobody to bother you at those ages. You know what I'm saying? So understand that the very day you get a 9-to-5, if you want to escape from the rat race, you got to be working on your plan while you're in your job. You got to be working on your plan. So what that means, what's number 7? Budget. Budgeting is very, very important if you want to quit your 9-to-5 job. You may have to lay off on the Jordans for a while. You may have to stop buying the weed for a while. You may have to stop buying, going out to eat to buy the most expensive stuff or the foods, going out to eat. Maybe you might have to start cooking more at home more. Save money so that you can have money to invest into your business, to invest into your growth, to invest into your knowledge, to invest into your spirituality, to invest into your personal development, to invest into everything in your being, because everything that you are is going to be able to be created from what you are and who you are. But you got to budget. You got to take the money from your job. It's not about the money you make from your job. It's about what you're going to do with the money you make from your job. What are you planning on doing with it? Are you investing it into a business on the side? Are you investing it? Have you hit up Jonathan Belcher and found out how you can lock arms with him and start earning passive income? Have you taken some money on the side of your job and say, yo, how can I get started with John and change my life, earn passive income? I like what he's doing. Maybe you like what I'm doing. If you like what I'm doing, hit me up. www.facebook.com/JohnBelcher300. John Belcher 300. That's the number 300 after John Belcher. /John Belcher 300. Facebook.com/John Belcher 300 is where you can find me. But yeah, you want to quit your job. Another thing. Another thing is paying attention to who you're listening to. When you decide to become an entrepreneur, when you decide to quit your job, when you decide to level up, you've officially decided to be willing to do what most people aren't willing to do. That's what you've done. When you've decided to become an entrepreneur, you've decided to level up, you've decided to quit your job, you've decided to say, you know what, I want to turn my passion into a paycheck. I want to live more of a purposeful life. I want to be able to make enough income regardless if I have a job or not. The moment you've decided to do that, you've decided to be willing to do what most people aren't willing to do. You know what I'm saying? So what that means is that you probably no longer need to listen to the people you used to be listening to. You probably should no longer listen to the other 9-to-5ers at your job that you hang out with, because they don't have the same vision as you. They're not going to the same place as you. You probably shouldn't be listening to the people who expect to be stuck at their job. You probably should put yourself in a position to listen to other entrepreneurs. Listen to people who quit their job. Listen to people who have successful businesses. Listen to people who have value to share with you that's going to equip you on your journey to where you got to go, what you want to do. I'm only talking if you want to quit your job and escape the rat race. If that's not what you want to do, this message is really not for you. But if you do want to quit your job, there's some habits and some behavioral changes that must happen. And it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be rocket science. It doesn't have to be complex for you to quit your job. But it will take energy. It will take time. It will take practice. It will take development. It will take energy. It will take time. It will take practice. It will take development. And it will take some investment capital. It doesn't have to take a lot, though. It doesn't have to take a lot. But you got to know what you want. You got to know what you want. This is Jonathan Belcher. I'm going to see you at the top.